What's up, people? This is video number 2 of the series of changing the way you think, reprogramming the way you think, whatever I called it. All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about work and money this time. All right. How did you get programmed to think about work and money? All right. So I know a lot of people, they've been persuaded somehow to believe that you have to work hard in order to make money. Okay. In order to make a good living, you have to work hard. And that's something that's to be proud of. You're supposed to be proud of the fact that you are a hard worker. All right. From my point of view, I'm gonna be honest. The people I know work the hardest make the least. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know nobody who is truly financially free and spiritually free who overexerts themselves. Okay. So this is the thing. You got to get good at preserving your energy. You have to actually master your energy expenses. So you got to make sure you're not spending too much energy on something that really doesn't actually serve you and your higher purpose. All right, so let's bring it in a little closer. So when it comes to this money thing, right, of course, people translate work into money a lot of the time. The only people who think the way of the harder I work, the better I'll get paid, is people with the poor people mindset. I bet you got a genetic history of people who never really been truly wealthy or anything. Now, when I say truly wealthy, I'm not just talking about funding and money and all that stuff. It's deeper than that. Like I said, it's the spiritual aspect too. You got to have both. You got to be able to get stuff out of the material world through the spiritual world. Because just because somebody able to make a lot of money, yeah, maybe they did make a lot of it by working hard, but that is not necessarily how you're supposed to do it the whole time. It's supposed to be like a periodic thing, like a seasonal thing. So you're supposed to have periods of your life where you're going hard, and you're going to have periods of your life where you're supposed to be relaxing. Now, the relaxing part, you're supposed to actually do a lot more of that than the working hard part. And here's why. Okay. When you're relaxing, you're actually giving your mind a lot of time to roam freely and be more creative and think of things that actually benefit you when it comes up with making a plan, when it comes to actually enjoying the fruits of your labor when you were working hard and all that type of stuff. So I noticed that a lot of people have the wrong perspective on work and money and how they relate to each other. And that might be why it's difficult for people to get to what they want to get to in life. Now, of course, if you want to take the riskier route, right? If you want to take the risk route, if you want to take the route of entrepreneurship, betting on yourself, if you don't come from money for real, but you want to have a lot of it, you're going to have to be willing to make a lot of sacrifices in the earlier phases of your career paths. And you're going to have to be willing to really push back, the delayed gratification. That's what they call it, delayed gratification. So to some extent, you're going to have to pass on certain opportunities that other people who are going to end up basically like mediocre would accept. So there's certain opportunities that when you know that you want to get bigger and better things, you're going to have to pass on some of the stuff that could be seen as something good or guaranteed in order for you to be able to push and get to the further. All right, let's keep on going though, because this video gets better. All right, so you got to think about this. I had somebody who asked me recently, they said, I don't come from money and I don't have much money, so how am I supposed to escape the loop? And you know what I told them? 2 words. I said, high risk. That's the only way. That's the only way. Okay. That's the only way you're going to do it quickly. Or you're going to do it the long route, which is going to be basically you put together a hell of a good form of intellectual property, like write some really good books, create some really good music, you know, whatever it is that basically you could duplicate and sell multiple times, unlimited times, like songs or like books or anything else that basically once you create it digitally, you can do it unlimited times. You can sell it unlimited times. When it's stuff like that, your money gonna go crazy when you finally like activate it. But it's gonna take a while for you to put together masterpieces, and that's the most rewarding path. And it's actually something that I see as a requirement if you actually want to look for generational wealth. If you want to be able to do something for your kids and stuff like that, you're gonna have to think bigger than just what you can do to get paid quick. And a lot of people got the wrong point of view because they want to get rich quick. They think getting rich is something that happens as a byproduct of working hard for their whole life. It's like, no, bruh, it's about working smart for your whole life, okay? You have to work smarter than harder. Just because you're working hard don't mean you're actually doing it right. So many people got this hustler mentality, right? Especially in the culture of people who got skin that look like this. So many people think that they're supposed to do everything by themselves, bro. So many people think that they're supposed to be they supposed to be the founder, the freaking president, they supposed to be the employee, they supposed to be the accountant, the secretary, they supposed to be responding to all the emails. They think they supposed to be doing all this junk and filing the taxes, all this stuff. It's like, no. You tripping. I promise you got programmed into thinking like that. Because, of course, the whole theme of this series is me exposing people thinking the ways that they think without even realizing that somebody who is their competitor got them to believe in that. It's not like you think like that naturally. You have been influenced. Your mind has been infiltrated, whether you know it or not, bro. You have been shown, you have been pushed into certain directions, you have been blinded, you have been bamboozled into thinking all of these things that are slowing you down or really not getting you to where things are supposed to be easy for you. As a soul, as somebody who's in contact with the spirit realms, it's not supposed to be difficult for you to live your life and be who you are. But it's so much harder for you to be who you are if you're letting other people and other business entities and all that tell you who you are via propaganda, social media, school, and all that nonsense, bro. Like, you gotta really recognize when you start regurgitating shit that you heard somewhere else, when you start talking, saying stuff that you heard somebody else say without even coming up with your own point of view on it, by like basically doing some type of filtering, some type of process of elimination with the information that you got. Bro, if you don't ever throw out at least a little bit of the information that you get, that means you're accepting all of it, and that makes you docile. That makes you very easy to manipulate. That makes you a pawn. That makes you a target, even. So I gotta like really influence that a lot, or I gotta reiterate on that like a lot during this series, is that a lot of the time people do not realize that they think the way that they think because they were taught to think that way. You have to teach yourself how to come up with your own conclusions, and only then will you be a genius. Everybody knows you can't just have one source of information for stuff, but very easily people might go to Instagram or go to the I don't know, freaking journalism, whatever your favorite source of journalism is. They only get one source and then they think they know what's going on. Shame on you. Shame on you. You gotta know better than that, bro. You have to. You can't be the person who thinks that you're so wise and shit, but you ain't even wise enough to check with multiple sources and then check with your own source. Bro, because really all the information really supposed to come from your source, the only true source, though all that is, whatever you want to call it. So many people might get confused into realizing, or should I say not realizing, that what they're doing is not actually their own personality. Very easily, your personality can be swayed based off of one simple experience that you had, especially when somebody is getting access to your subconscious mind. And it's easy to access somebody's subconscious mind through when they're in the alpha brainwave state, aka when they're in a trance, when they're half asleep, when they're bored and stuff like that, which is what a lot of the time, that's the state that you're in when you're staring at a screen, when you're watching TV or on YouTube too long, goddamn, on Instagram, TikTok. Bruh, you gotta chill with that junk. You got to make sure you put these devices down and sit there long enough so you can really think of a good plan so that you don't have to work too hard. Because when you start working smart, you start realizing a system is a system because it has things that work together. You get to figuring out who the best candidates are for certain roles to play. You're going, like, bro, nobody can tell you this. Nobody else can tell you this. No social media can tell you this. No mass media can tell you this. You're going to have to take the time to sit your butt down and really think. A lot of people want to turn their brains off and don't even do any thinking. And it's like, no wonder you ain't satisfied, dog. You ain't even putting in no work. Most of the work is not in action. Most of the work is in thinking about what it takes. It's putting together a plan. You got to be intellectual. You got to be intelligent. And you have to be honest about what your strengths and your weaknesses are. Please. You have to be honest with yourself. If you suck at something, if you need help with it, if you're the best at it, or if you could be the best at it, if you just apply your discipline, Bruh, if you ain't got all of these things, you can't be surprised if you don't really get to too much in life. Because let's be honest here, there is no excuse for you to have been alive for more than 40 years, and by the time you at age 40 or beyond, there is not much to show for your existence here. You've been here long enough to do something, plenty of stuff actually, because every day you get an opportunity to do some big stuff. Every day is an opportunity to make a difference. Now, there's visible ways to make a difference materialistically, but also you got to make sure you're touching other people's lives. Make sure you're bringing value to the world, bro. This is not just about getting paid for everything. Sometimes you got to do some shit for free. Sometimes you got to do it out of the kindness of your heart, because that's where the true rewarding is, bro. The rewards come from feeling good about yourself. The best way to feel good about yourself, and I promise you this will never ever change, is when you are bringing value to the world, to other people's lives. This is not just about always getting a paycheck. It's not always just about generational wealth, retiring early and all that stuff. Like, all of that is cool and great and all of that, but I promise you, your great grandkids are only gonna know you if you were a leader. They're not gonna know you if you were a slave, if you were a good employee. If you didn't really build anything for your family, for your people, for your tribe, let's be honest, you're gonna be easily forgotten. Especially if you're not recording anything. If you're not actually creating any sort of documentation that you were even here. Like, if you're not building something that people can visibly see. Like, I'm talking about actual artwork that's physical. Like, I don't know, a statue or a marble mural or something, for example. I don't know. Paintings, music, videos, books, papers, reports, like whatever it is, bro. Record something, all right? Make sure you record something, because it's going to outlive you. It's going to outlive your physical body. And that's leaving a legacy, bro. Like, make sure you write something. Like, bro, write something. Record something. Somebody's going to read it, and you can easily change one person's life. And then just that easy, you all of a sudden are going to feel, now I'm talking about in your unconscious mind, like it was worth coming here to Earth. Now, I am definitely going to make a video talking about changing your perspective on death, because I know y'all need that one. But that's the end of this one for now. Unless I think of something else. Give me a second, let me think. Yeah, why not? I got something else. So, again, on the thing about people thinking that you're supposed to be working hard, you're supposed to be working smart. Just to reiterate that one more time. But spending time doing the right things is going to make you feel fulfillment and be proud of yourself. And naturally, you're going to get really good at what you do, because you're going to have a sense of purpose. It's not going to feel like work when you really get to doing what you're supposed to be doing with your life. When you start having the discipline to start actually sticking with something long term, and you start seeing the progress that you're making, bro, it's going to give you that new, that new vigor that you didn't know that you needed. You're going to have a new sense of purpose. And you might already have something that you're working on, but let's make sure that we're being honest with ourselves. Are you really handling it as well as you could be? Are you really sticking with it and sticking with a schedule? Are you really being disciplined? Are you cutting corners? Are you slacking? Because I promise you, there are no shortcuts in life for real. You're going to have to go through it all. And you don't really even want a shortcut. And the reason why you don't is simply because you're going to need something to do here anyway. You're always going to need something to do. So you might as well give yourself the long route to take, because you're going to exist regardless. You might as well go the long route and make it more rewarding, because you're going to need to wake up every day and have a sense of purpose and have some type of something that's getting you to keep going. Because once you achieve your goal, a depression happens soon after that. And that's simply because the high is coming from pursuing the things. It's not coming from actually achieving it. And a lot of people get that confused. They be like, once I get this, then I'll be happy. No, you won't. You don't even understand how psychology works when it comes to happiness and well-being. You always have to have something that you're getting closer to. As long as you feel like you're getting closer to something, that's going to keep you moving forward. That's going to make you have the will to live. And especially if you're doing things that you know that you don't really feel like doing it, but you know you're supposed to be doing it, that's where the discipline comes in at. I promise you, that's where your will to live comes from. On a primitive state, that's where your will to live comes from, is the uncertainty of when, but knowing that it is going to happen because of what you're doing to get to it. All right? Leave me a comment, hit the thumbs up button, and holla at me later, my name.